Hi, everybody, and welcome again. This is TD. When we started ACES in 2015, we started because there were only 5 networks on the continent, and now we've got well over 54 angel networks, all operating crisscross around the continent. We've heard about all kinds of deals, all kinds of exits, and everything else. And over the years, looking at what our counterparts on other continents do, we've wanted to understand exactly how is our industry growing and what is happening. So we were lucky, and in what is our first and what we're hoping will become an annual, we did a survey of the angel industry on the continent. And to do that, we found amazing partners called Briter Bridges who did all the work. And during this session, they're going to be sharing what they found. And from Briter Bridges with me today is Joshua Murima. Joshua, you're very welcome. Say hello.
Thanks so much, TD. Joshua here, everyone. Based in Nairobi, I lead ecosystem engagement at Briter Bridges. Briter Bridges is loosely a data-driven research firm that has been trying to showcase, the brighter sides of this emerging market. So we are more known for flagship publications, maps, infographics, all the sexy visual things that I guess you've been seeing around. So, very happy to partner with ABAN on this undertaking, and we hope that the data that arises from this will be helpful to the growth of the ecosystem.
Thanks, Joshua. So we managed to get well over 100 angels from across the continent to participate in this. And really, for those of you who participated and are listening, I really, really want to thank you, because I know I had to arm twist some of you to provide us with data, because unfortunately our governments across the continent don't really recognize angel investing yet. And it is a challenge for some of us to actually disclose some of our activities, because the minute you have an exit, everybody makes a beeline to your house, whether it's government or beggars, depending on where it is on the continent you are. So that I understand, but that notwithstanding, I mean, Joshua, Dario, and the team have managed to really, really get some answers, get some data for us. So Joshua, I mean, let me ask, what exactly is the state of angel investing? What is this research saying about angel investing on the continent?
Well, I mean, we all know that angel investing has been an emerging trend for the past couple of years, but there has been a problem. We don't know by how what the rate of growth is. I mean, for many reasons. I mean, there's a shortage of information on about angel investing in the continent because of lots of confidentiality, as you've mentioned. And maybe perhaps this space is still very small in that everyone knows each other. But I guess the purpose of this research has been to, again, bring new information about angel investing. And what we've seen over the past couple of months engaging with angel investors is that about more than $44 million was deployed by angels in the year 2020. And that is exciting. And this is, across 350 deals alone. And your gut feeling may be right. The year 2021 will definitely, break a lot of records, because I mean, if we can use, classic example, the recent 1.7 brass seed round where, you had the founders at Flutterwave and Paystack participating. So that can show you that the year 2021 will also be sort of a good year for angel investors. That being said, we are seeing a lot more democratization of, angel investing. As low as a minimum ticket sizes of $1,000, and this has been sort of exacerbated by the increase and the rise of syndicates, all across the continent.
Thanks, and I want to come back to that ticket size later. But
Sure.
First, what I wanted to find out is, what did the survey tell us about demographics? who are these angels? I mean, you've mentioned the fact that the founders of Flutterwave and Della are angel investors. Actually, is part of my syndicate also.
Nice.
Um, we're seeing these entrepreneurs become angel investors. Where exactly, do they get the funds to invest? Is it all the entrepreneurs that have made money from their startups, or are there other types? What kind of demographics did you find?
Sure. I mean, 100%. So 45% of the angel investors are actually, current or former founders and entrepreneurs. So that's sort of the majority, right? 31% are managers and execs at corporates around the continent. And 11% are actually high net worth individuals. And this sort of goes against the old adage that angel investing is a preserve for the rich, for the HNIs, right? So I said, I mean, lots of these founders are angel investors, and it's a good trend, especially because we are seeing larger deals in the continent and more exits in a way, and successful founders are sort of reinvesting, right? What is also interesting, before we move on to the source of wealth and capital, is that these founder angel investors are actually the ones who have sort of the highest, ticket sizes across the demographic. But that being said, the majority of angel capital we find that it is coming from earned wages, right, and salaries. And this is followed by those who sort of invest from their own personal wealth. And interestingly, a small portion of that comes from folks who invest from earnings from their previous exits.
All right. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Thanks for that. That's quite insightful. Now, I mean, one of the things, um, when everybody talks about a startup scene, we talk about the diamond, which is Cairo, Nairobi, Lagos, and Johannesburg as sort of the destinations of, in turn, the investment coming onto the continent into startups. But geographically speaking, where are these angels? And, does their location have anything to do with how they invest? So are Lagos angels different from Victoria angels in Nairobi, or from the Dazzle angels in Cape Town, or Josie angels in Johannesburg, or the Cairo angels in Cairo, or the angels for Africa in Morocco? You know, where, and, are there any differences?
Yes, absolutely. What still remains is that the majority of the angels are from the diaspora. I mean, they're based in the US, Canada, UK, and this is interesting. From India, very strange. What we're seeing is that lots of angels don't have African countries as their base, in as much as they might be part of Africa-based investment clubs, syndicates, etc. Right? And this also indicates the presence of a sort of a large diaspora or international community that is interested in the continent, and also, perhaps a low rate of local sources of capital or local money, right? As to the effects, we see that this has some sort of an indirect bearing on ticket sizes again. Seeing that Nigeria, as a destination, has sort of the highest, angel ticket sizes, and perhaps this is because of their strong sort of diaspora network as compared to other, geographies in the continent.
Interesting. Thank you. Well, the last question I have for you really is around preferences. Because I know, I have a thesis, and a lot of my friends have theses. Did your survey find anything on criteria, sector? I know you talked about ticket size or check sizes earlier. What did you find around criteria, sector, and types of checks?
What I will say about that is that, and this is a product of the research as well, is that angels generally don't care, especially when it comes to criteria and requirements and all that, because of the relative, I will say, flexibility to which they sort of operate with. Now, to contextualize that, we see that more than half don't really require revenues as part of their investment criteria, right?
Really?
And yep, and a large majority are actually sector agnostic, largely because they don't have any sector mandates. However, we see that a sector that like fintech tops the list of those who sort of care about sectors, and this sort of is reflective of the larger ecosystem trends, right? I mean, everybody is talking about fintech and all that. And also when it comes to the preferences as to the investment structures, etc., we see that the majority are sort of mixed between using equity and instruments like SEFs, and also this also speaks to the rise of the use of these emerging investment instruments like SEFs and convertibles. It appears that most of the investment or angel syndicates rather do use these instruments. Now, what we found to be key and interesting also from this research is that quite a considerable portion care about impact, right? We see that more than 20% sort of are focused on African-born founders, and this speaks to the fact that again, Africa's problems will be solved by Africans themselves, right? Other impact sort of metrics that angels sort of care about are job creation within the continent, as well as supporting female founders and co-founders.
You got it. Gender, job creation, two of my favorites. And I really, really want to thank you, Dario, and the team for doing this work. If I left without this final question, a lot of people, would say, oh, come on, TD, you should have. Now, here's the question. What is the average minimum ticket size? And what's the average maximum ticket size that angels are actually doing on the continent based on your survey?
So what we've seen is that the average, from the lower limit will be $11,000, 10 to $11,000. Mm-hmm. And the maximum, from the survey and from the engagement that we have ever had with the angels, we're seeing it to be about 50 to 70 K as a maximum for the ticket size.
Which is about, that's about what I thought and what's been our experience. So the angels are in that range still, which is, I expect it to stay at the 10 to 100 for a while, as we mature with the more bullish risk, high risk appetite entrepreneurs leading at the higher ticket size, and the professionals who are more from corporate backgrounds and investing wages to sort of be at the lower end of the ticket size. And on that note, I'd really, really want to thank you for taking the time out to share this with us. For those of you listening, the reports will be available through Briter Bridges and ABAN. And if you look on your screens, you will be seeing, as Joshua said, they're known for infographics. Surprise, surprise. Watch out for the infographic on the survey. Thanks for listening. My name is Tommy Davis of the Africa Business Angel Network, and have a great one.